Hey, everybody, we're back again. We're going to talk sports on Sunny Fireside Sports Take, and it's a whole lot going on everywhere. They have the Roland Garros tournament I believe it's in France. That's
Paris.
a big thing. I never have been that much into tennis, but they make it exciting to look at. And our girl Coco Gauff is out there in the finals, and we wish her well, representing America and Black people. But the number one sports issue, yes, the NBA Finals. And I got to ask, is everybody surprised about the Indiana Pacers?
I'll go first.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I am not surprised about the Indiana Pacers. That team got hard. They just got hard. They have heart, and they play.
We lost your picture. We lost your picture.
Tell you what they swagger.
Rob, what you think?
Well, I'm not gonna lie. I'm glad they lost the picture with that yellow tie. So, but that's another story. If you're not surprised, you're kidding yourself. Indiana Pacers really came out of nowhere. In the East, the favorite was Boston, heavily favored. And the New York Knicks really showed up this year. But you got to give a lot of credit to the new superstar in the league, in the NBA, Halliburton, man. He's really showing out, man. Last night was incredible. And so you got to give him credit. I thought they were going to be a tough draw for OKC because of their experience, and it's coming to fruition. Philip, go ahead, boss.
Yeah, I'm with you guys. I mean, that's the best team Oklahoma City is going to play all year, and that's why they're playing them in the finals. And I do believe that I thought before the series started, there's no way they were going to lose every game at home or every game on the road. So I said 4-2 Oklahoma City just based on what I had been seeing. And I still believe that. But I'm at least got that part right because I know you weren't going to lose every road game. That team is just too good. It's the best team Oklahoma City has played. So, and they've lost the first game of a series before, so it's not the end of the world yet. But I do know Indiana is hungry. And one thing we know for sure, it's going to be a first-time champion either way. And I'm looking forward to whoever comes out of there. But I still stick with Oklahoma City in 6.
I stick with Oklahoma City in 7. I'm
going Pacers in 7.
They are in a dogfight, and they know it.
Yeah.
They are in a dogfight.
Every game is going to be pretty much like you saw. Yeah, there's not going to be no blowouts, I don't think.
No, there ain't going to be no blowouts. And Indiana's always, with that three-point shooting, is always possible in the game.
Yeah, but when you miss them threes, you saw what happened to Boston. So you can live by the sword and die by the sword. But when they making them, it's tough to beat them.
It definitely is. And so everything y'all have said is correct. And it's going to be, that's the best two teams, in my opinion, this year. And it ended up like it was supposed to end up. And we'll see what's happening. Jeff, what's happening with your screen? But I want to ask about the Rockets. Now, we've heard some things. Now, me and Jeff have had this argument. He likes us to pick up Kevin Durant. I say no way. Now, I would give half of the farm for Giannis, but not Kevin Durant. That's me. There's quite a few reasons for that. Kevin Durant is 37 years old. He's never been a great defensive player. He can shoot, yes, but he only won a championship, in my opinion, because he went to the right situation to win a championship. He does not take a team over the edge, beyond what they normally would do.
I disagree with that.
I disagree with you, but you have your opinion. I have mine, and I would not take him. However, I would make a trade for Giannis. I would send them Cam Whitmore, Dylan Brooks, Jock Landale, and Jason Tate if they'll take him, or the number 1 pick. However, you had another question on who would I take in my draft. I would take that boy out of Florida, extremely quick point guard, and I might let Reed Shepherd let him go on his way. Okay, Jeff, you give your side.
Okay, I speak too soon.
Okay, first of all, I'm going to go with the Pacers, and I'm going with the Thunder in 7 games. I think it's going to go with the 4-7 games. But I really truly believe that both of these teams got a lot of heart. Both of these guys got dogs, and both of these teams are going to be good for a long time, because I don't see any of these teams where they have old guys. You know, all these guys are like coming into their prime now. So both of these teams, you're going to have to deal with both of these teams for a while, for a long time to come. And the OKC Thunder, they are set up for many years, because they got a lot of first-round draft picks coming from trades that they've made, and they really draft well. When you look at that up and down their roster, those are draft picks. Those guys, they draft well and they develop their players. They do an outstanding job.
Alexander's not a draft pick, though. They didn't draft him.
Oh, I understand that. I'm just saying a lot of their guys are draft picks, and they did an outstanding job. Yeah, they traded for him. I'm aware of that.
Now one question too, Jeff. Did you say Pacers or did you say Thunder? You said Pacers first. Which one is it?
No. I've always said the Thunder. I said the Thunder in 6
I heard you loud and clear. You said Pacers in 7, and then you came back and said Thunder. I wouldn't say that if I didn't hear it. Just a few minutes.
When did you hear me say the Pacers?
Okay. Don't worry about it.
When? No, I've always said the Thunder. I've always said the Thunder.
We'll replay this again, and you're gonna hear it, and you're gonna say, "Oh, okay."
I think you just misspoke.
The Thunder in 7.
You heard him call.
I kind of heard it, yeah.
Okay. You mean a few minutes ago? Do you mean a few minutes ago?
No, I think you just misspoke, Jeff. Yeah, I think you meant.
No, I think so too. I didn't mean to interrogate you. I just wanted to be sure.
Yeah, you are. Both of you are. But
I heard you.
Go ahead, have fun.
Well, I'm not even second guessing what I heard. I just said, if you heard you. Okay, we'll play it back.
I've always said the Thunder. I've even talked about the Thunder's GM. How outstanding a job he's done. Sam Presti is done. He is the best GM in the NBA. That guy's the best GM. That guy has lost from James Harden to Kevin Garnett to Paul George to Russell Westbrook, and turned around and rebuilt that team and got the best team in the league. So that guy's an outstanding job.
I guess Gil didn't hear him either, but I heard him.
Yeah, but I just glad that I'm glad his screen is off, because I'm tired of looking at yellow tie, and then we got some more red and gold on. So I'm glad he's not showing he needs to shut his camera off too. All right, go ahead, brother. I'm sorry, Philip. Go ahead.
No, we need them to show on the screen if possible, guys. Daryl and Jeff, if you all could come on screen, that would be helpful. If you can, I understand though.
Yeah, I just got home. I'm trying to set up. I apologize for being late, but that Houston traffic got me. But I couldn't miss this opportunity to chat with my brothers, and especially that guy from the purple side of town.
All right, sounds good. Hey guys, I think this is going to be an interesting offseason as far as free agents and trades and all of that stuff. Now, Daryl, we just talked about, is it a good thing to try to pick up Kevin Durant for the Rockets? What do you think, Daryl?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I do not.
I agree with you.
I appreciate what he brings. He is still a shooter. He is still one of the best players in the league. But I think the price would absolutely have to be right to bring him in. We have a great core of guys. I'm not sure that the guys that we have is good enough to win a championship. But if Durant is not the missing piece, if he's not going to get us a championship, then I don't want to sell the future for a guy who may play for just 2 more years and we still don't have the championship.
Agree with that, and he's not a great defensive player or a great leader, and I would go for Giannis. I think Giannis could do a lot better here under the tutelage of Hakeem Olajuwon, and again, I would give up Dylan Brooks, what's his name, Deshane, a couple of other players, but not no main players, of course not Amen Thompson. I wouldn't even give up Jabari Smith. So if they'll go for that, I would give up Jock Landale, Cam Whitmore, and Dylan Brooks. And if I could get him, I'd pick him up. And with the 10th pick, I would pick up Robert Clayton of Florida, and that's a quick point guard. And I wouldn't necessarily re-sign Fred VanVleet. That's too much money. And the trend of the league is you got to have some big point guards. And that's where, if you look at the NBA championship, you got Shea, he's 6'5". You got Tyrese Halliburton, he's 6'6". You know, we throw Amen Thompson out there, and he's 6'6", and have him backed up by Robert Clayton. I think you're on the next road. You're on the next road to go with that.
Frankly, I don't think that the Rockets are going to choose a player with that 10th pick. I frankly believe that 10th pick is going to be involved in a trade, whether it's a trade for Giannis from Milwaukee, or whether it's a trade for Kevin Durant in Phoenix, or I'm also hearing another possible trade. That pick could end up going to the Nets, the Brooklyn Nets, for Cameron Johnson. That's another rumor I'm hearing.
Who else?
If they can't make a deal for Giannis or Durant, they may make the deal for Cameron Johnson from the Nets and give up that 10th pick. Because that 10th pick, they don't think that guy's going to make think about it. Last season, you picked third in the draft. Reed Shepherd. He didn't even hit the floor. He didn't even hardly hit the floor. So you think the guy taking the 10th, the guy taking the 10th in this draft is going to actually get in the playing rotation? I don't think so. So I think they're going to use that pick to get an established player, or make the swing and get a Durant, or I think that's what they're going to do. I don't think they're going to draft that 10th.
Who else, guys, do you think going to get moved this summer? I think Zion Williamson's days are numbered. Joe Dumars is coming there, and I think he's going to be gone.
Zion has to get out of New Orleans. He got too many baby mama.
You ain't lying, brother.
Yeah, he got too much of that.
That lady Mariah Mills is on his case.
Look, and I hate to say this, because I love New Orleans, and I love everything in New Orleans. General, don't laugh. I love everything in New Orleans, but however, and then he got to get out. It's just too much for Zion. Zion,
he has a young mentality. He's immature. He needs to go somewhere where he can get around some veterans.
Yeah, he went to Duke. Duke didn't have everything they got in the Ninth War. You know, that 7th War. You heard me? He ain't ready for that. So he got to get out of there. But I'm going to touch back on this real quick point that Jeffrey was trying to make. Listen, Durant is too old. I'm going to say too damn old. I'm cussing a little bit. Too damn old to come to the Rockets and make a difference. Now, Giannis,
I disagree.
You can disagree with that yellow towel. Listen, look, Giannis, brother, that would make a big difference, man. A big difference. And Reed Shepherd, we talked about Reed Shepherd last year when they drafted him. We knew he wasn't a number 3 pick. We said that he's not going to play. Who's going to play in front of?
It sounds like we're having some technical difficulties. If you all could try to talk into the mics closer, maybe it'll help. We're having some technical difficulties, and it's kind of messing with our sound a little bit. Who else is going to get moved?
Hey, Carl, can you hear me? Can you hear me well? Can you hear me well?
Hear you okay, sir.
Okay, all right. Okay.
Yeah. Who else, Jeff, is going to get moved?
Okay, this is what I'm hearing. Okay, this is what I'm hearing. I'm hearing that the Boston Celtics are ready to make a move. Boston Celtics have the 2nd highest payroll in the NBA right now. And with Jason Tatum expected to miss a lot of next season with that injury he has, they are really looking to get off of some of the salaries that they have. And what I'm hearing, they would love to move Jaylen Brown. He's set to make like $55 million next season. And he has a contract, a 5-year deal. I think it's 4 years left on that deal. And it's the average of those 4 years is roughly about $60 million. They really want to move off those big contracts. So what I'm hearing, they trying to strike a deal with Houston because they would like to get Houston's picks. Houston got 1st-round picks from the Phoenix Suns from the 2025 draft, the 2027 draft, and the 2029 draft. That's why you're hearing a lot of stuff between Phoenix and Houston, because Phoenix Suns, they want those draft picks back. Houston acquired those draft picks last summer in a deal with the Brooklyn Nets. They got the picks back from the James Harden trade, and they traded them for the Phoenix picks so that New York could get Mikal Bridges, so they can have the team that they had this season. So that's what that was all about. So now Phoenix want those 3 draft picks back, including their first round pick in this year's draft. So that's what's going on. That's why you're constantly hearing Durant to Houston, because Phoenix want their first round picks back. But if Houston cannot strike a deal with Phoenix, I think they are either going to go with Giannis. If they can't get a deal with Giannis, I think it's the 10th pick. I think they're going to move that pick to the Brooklyn Nets or Cameron Johnson.
We will see.
Yes.
Let me ask Daryl and Pat, guys, who's going to win the NBA championship? I think our majority here was, I think we picked OKC in 7 or 6. So what do you all think? Pat, what do you think?
If I was betting my money, I'm going to bet on OKC. I'm pulling for Indiana.
Okay. Daryl?
Hey, Pat, we can't see you. Pat, we can't see you. This
Daryl,
your video, Pat.
what do you think?
Pat took the words out of my mouth. OKC, by all accounts, is a heavy favorite. I think I read something. They're the biggest favorite either ever or in like a long time. I read another article where they interviewed 32 so-called experts, and 29 of them picked Oklahoma City. Only 3 picked the Pacers. So I'm going to join those 3, and I'm going to pull for the Pacers. You know, a team gets hot and they go on a run, and sometimes that team is just their time. Nobody took the Pistons over the Lakers, but they came in and became household names. We knew Chauncey, but we didn't really know Big Ben except people like Phil and Gil and Pat, who watch every game,
Rip
every channel.
Hamilton.
But they became household
They had
names by
Rasheed Wallace.
right. But they
all
became
those guys.
household names by beating. Like nobody gave them a chance against Shaq, Kobe, Garrett Payton, and Karl Malone. I mean, it just seemed unbelievable. So I'll say the same thing. Nobody's giving Indiana a chance. I'm going to root for them. I'm going to pull for them, but I'm not putting any money on them.
I do not believe, guys, that OKC is that much better than Indiana. I mean, physically, Indiana matches up if you really look at it at every position. And I think OKC made a mistake not starting their normal starting lineup with Hartenstein at center and power forward Chet Holmgren. They said, okay, we need to adjust to Indiana instead of making Indiana adjust to them. So I think they messed up there. And if they don't go back to that, hey,
it got them a 15-point lead for the majority of the game, so it couldn't have been too bad.
Yeah.
I still say in the long run, that was a mistake. But we'll see. You're right, Phil.
You know what that game reminded me of? It reminded me of game 1 with Houston in 95, with Houston and the Orlando Magic. And Orlando Magic was blowing Houston out. I mean, that first half was pathetic for the Rockets. I mean, they were down by 22. Orlando, everything was clicking. They were embarrassing the Rockets. And then all of a sudden, the third quarter started, and Kenny Smith went crazy. He's making 3-pointer after 3-pointer, and Kenny Smith brought him back into the game. And Houston went on to win that game. I don't think I don't think that Orlando ever got over losing that game with what's his name, Anderson, going to the free throw line, missing 2 free throws, get the rebound, get fouled again, go back to the line, miss both free throws again. So he missed all 4 free throws, and Houston go on to win game 1. And I don't think Orlando ever got over that game. And that's how they ended up losing that series. I think they just lost it. They lost whatever they had. They lost it. Now the question is the same thing going to happen with Indiana against Thunder, because the Thunder should have won that game. They got by 15 points with about 7 minutes left, and they let that game slip away. So now they're going to be the Orlando Magic. Is the Thunder going to be the Orlando Magic of 1995, where you had a big lead?
All right, guys, we want to talk about something that's going on, and of course it has cultural, racial, and other overtones. Are the ladies kind of going too far and getting crazy, calling Caitlin Clark names and different things and showing their hatred? And, we kind of know how ladies can get. They can get so messy and they can forget that there's money involved. Just like a statement that they automatically should make the same as the guys, not realizing where the money comes from. It's not a charity thing. If you ain't got the money coming into the gate, where's the money coming from? So are you saying that the men should just give them the money? No, that ain't never worked out. But what do we think, Pat? What you think about what's going on with the WNBA and how they're treating Caitlin Clark? I heard that Brittany Grenier called her white trash.
Carl, you have to look at it like this. It be prior to last year, before Caitlin Clark got there, yeah, they had a little following. When Caitlin Clark got there, the following went sky high. The ratings went high. So Caitlin Clark is bringing money. So what they need to understand is that you might not want to disrupt that.
I'm saying this though, the women, because of how they are emotional rather than logical. So they emotional, they stuck on their feelings, and they not looking at it like that. They want the attention, and we all know women can be emotional. Now, the old heads are trying to tell them, like Lisa Leslie and all of them, they trying to tell them, but they caught up in the emotion. You wouldn't have this kind of attention if this woman had not come in the league. And they're going to go too far if someone will start getting suspended. Daryl, what you think?
Like Pat said, 2 years ago, the WNBA was, I'm not going to say on its last leg, but it was an afterthought. Once Caitlin and Angel got into it in college, it drew attention to it, and that carried over into the pros. But I can't speak for everybody else, but without that, I know that my interest is waning. I'm not interested in watching other guys. They don't have enough star power, and they don't have a high enough level of play to keep me interested. I need to see some anger, some animosity, some rivalry between Angel and Caitlin, or between Boston and somebody else, or I'll tune in to see what Asia does. But I didn't know any of those names 3 years ago. I was not a WNBA follower, but that brought me in. So there's a point where it can go too far, like you said, but without that, I don't think they would have half the interest that they currently have.
Carl, also, people don't want to say this, but it's a black-white thing. That's it.
Most sure.
Okay, we talked about this, and let me interject, and I'll use the word interject. We talked about this prior to the show coming on, and I think Daryl General, I hate to give him credit, but he touched on it a little bit. This is a marketing genius. You have to sell your product. The WNBA is selling their product. So whether it's Caitlin and Angel Reese, they have to sell that. Yes, it's animosity, because people they're gonna tune into bad stuff. The best player in the league is Angel Wilson, but Angel Wilson can only sell so many tickets. When you got Caitlin and Angel Reese from college, yes, it's gonna sell tickets. It's gonna make money. And the WNBA, like any other business, is about money. So you guys touched on it. It's about money, man. And if you want to make it racial, as long as it sells money.
All right, Jeff, what you think?
Who?
Jeff, go ahead.
Oh, okay. This is how I see it, guys. You have to understand, before the NBA, the WNBA started up in what, 97? Back in 97. So the WNBA was around for what, 20-some years before Caitlin Clark. Anybody even knew about Caitlin Clark. Okay, so these ladies have established themselves. They've done an outstanding job. They work hard to get to where they are. They have established themselves. They have been good players, all-stars, and they have carried the league. And then all of a sudden, Caitlin comes into the NBA, the WNBA, and then all of a sudden, she's a savior. And so I can kind of understand how these young ladies feel. They feel like that they're not valued. They really feel like they're not valued. All of a sudden, it's all about Caitlin. And then when Caitlin got hurt, and then all of a sudden, their attendance went down drastically. All over one young lady, she's not even the best player in the league. I can see she's Michael Jordan. She ain't Michael Jordan, she ain't Kobe Bryant, she ain't even the best player in the league. And then all of a sudden, the attendance went down. It's like it's all about Caitlin. It's not about the WNBA anymore. It's just about Caitlin. So these young ladies, I understand where they're coming from. Now, I'm not mad at Caitlin. I love Caitlin. She does a good job. I love all the ladies in the WNBA. But you have to understand, they
Proving my
feel like
point, Jeff.
their efforts are not being valued. It's all about Caitlin. So I understand where they're coming from. They need to market the other girls too, not the Caitlin.
No. You prove my point. It is not about the WNBA. It is not about the talent level. It is not about the game. It's about, like Gil said, it's about marketing and strategy and how do we put people in the seats. And the WNBA on its own, by itself, cannot put people in the seats. If you had 2 games tomorrow night here in Houston, and on one side of town, on the other side of town, Asia was playing whoever. Pick the best team you want to, the tightest game. Which game do you think is going to sell out? They're going to go see Kaylin and Angel Reese if they sell out at all. It's all about marketing.
Yeah, it's like Wheatley playing Yates and Madison playing Worthing or Austin. They're not going to show up for that game. They're going to show up for the Wheatley Yates game because everybody wants to see us whoop them. That's all. Okay, thank you.
My only point again is that the ladies get emotional as far as, you know, how they feeling. You know, just like Jeff said, they feel some kind of way that this girl is coming in, getting all the attention, all the money, so forth. But that is the reality. That is the reality. And this is not a charity world. Just because the men make 20 million, that doesn't mean they're supposed to give you 5 million. You know, I mean, and they don't want to recognize that. They want to have parity without having the economic same value. So they really kind of not looking at things logically, and that's why they get so upset. And they get so...
Someone needs to sit those young ladies down and show them the big picture. They're not looking at the big picture. It's like you said earlier, they're emotional. And that's to be expected. Women are emotional. I mean, come on, man, you have to understand that. It is what it is. But someone needs to sit them down and explain to them what the big picture is. The more fans that she bring in, the more money comes in, then the more money we can pay you ladies. So you have to understand, it's going to be putting more money in your pocket. So
again, the
put your
older
ego
players
aside. Put your ego aside. Put your ego
They've been
aside
trying
and
to
look
tell
at the
them
big
that,
picture.
and you know, Lisa Leslie said that, and a couple of others said that. So maybe the message is coming through. Let's switch sports a little bit, guys. We talked about basketball. We got that. We say again, Oklahoma City is the favorite, but most people are rooting for Indiana. I root for a good game. But football will be starting soon. Jeff, when football start?
The Rockets, the Texans already in OTAs. Their first preseason game is in, I think, the first week of August. But they're already in OTAs. But right now, the biggest problem is going on right now is C.J. Stroud. Right now, he's not throwing the ball. He's having problems with his shoulder. It's his shoulder soreness. And then another person said, no, it's a pectoral strain. So I'm hearing various things what it is, but he is not throwing the ball.
In the words of Underdog.
So now the question is,
in the words of Underdog, Davis Mills says, "Here I come to save the day."
That's my dude. Underdog is my dude.
Hey, we got a great quarterback. Let him sit to the side and heal himself while Davis Mills gets out there and handles the ball. So
don't say great, Carl. We have a decent, but don't call Davis Mills great. We have a decent. He's a place filler.
That's
he
an
might get us
inside
through
joke
1
there.
or 2 games, but you cannot use. That's the wrong adjective.
He knows that, Darryl. That's an inside joke.
To show how great he is at this time. Now,
don't buy that wolf ticket, Darryl. He's selling you a bill of goods.
Great ability during that time, but that was not the right team at that time. But he's developed his experience since that time, and he's ready right now.
No, he's not. Listen, okay, I'm gonna interject again. That's the second time I use that word, General. I really want to get, because I value your opinions. I really want to get your opinions on the biggest story in the NFL, and unfortunately, it's out of Cleveland. And all I have to do is say Cleveland, and Shedeur Sanders comes up. The kid is killing it in OTAs, and what they did to him was a complete injustice. absolutely. There's no way the kid that got drafted before him for the Browns had any. It was ridiculous. Not only that, the kid from that got drafted to the New Orleans Saints should not have gone before him. The New Orleans Saints are in trouble, and I'm not saying he's not going to be good, but Shadur Sanders was the pick. And I don't know if you guys agree with me, but that's how I see it. That's how I see it.
Go ahead, Pat. You was going to say something? In the thing of Shadur Sanders, the NFL, the owners just wanted to establish that we run this thing. You're not going to influence us. We run this thing, and hey, we don't see you as a can't miss, so you can go with the also rans. That's the way, and the owners wanted to establish that. Deion Sanders does not run this, or anybody else. You know, they a picky group of owners, and they wanted to make sure they established that.
Won't disagree.
Shadur Sanders should have went to Canada, but maybe not. But Cleveland has not shown that they're a good franchise. They got Deshaun Watson, who's close to a pedophile, and
they have some of their ass early.
Has it ever occurred to you, any of you, especially you, Carl, and I'm surprised you said that, but I respect your opinion, but has it ever occurred to you that the owners were wrong? Nobody's ever talked about it. The owners were absolutely wrong about Shadur Sanders.
I can't hear you clearly. Did it ever occur to me what?
That the owners were wrong. Their assessment was wrong, absolutely wrong.
I didn't question whether they were wrong or right. See, a lot of times it doesn't matter about wrong or right. It matters about power. That's what they wanted to establish, that they have the power. They didn't care about being wrong or right.
Well, they didn't want to win.
They wanted to say, hey, we control this.
Well,
now, it's up to Shadur to say, hey, y'all messed up because y'all had a good opportunity. More important to the owners is they wanted to show, hey, we in control of this.
Hey,
not your daddy, not your
nothing
else.
They were wrong.
Let me chime in, Paul. Let me chime in here.
Go ahead,
Okay. What basically what happened is several months ago, I saw Deion do an interview, Deion Sanders do an interview. And Deion Sanders was coming across as if he was bigger than the NFL. He came across as if he was trying to control where Travis Hunter would be drafted. Hold on, let me finish. He was also trying to control where his son was going to be drafted. And it was like, he was like acting like he was bigger than the NFL. So the NFL guys, they're like, well, who does he think he is? You don't control the NFL. So what they did is they spanked them. The NFL, they spanked the Sanders family. They penalized them. They made them sit there and wait through day one, all the way through day two, and through day three, waiting for their son to be drafted. All those hours, 12, 14 hours, sitting there waiting for him to be drafted. Then they didn't even draft the other kid, Shallow Sanders. They didn't even draft him at all. They spanked the Sanders family because of their ego.
Do you agree with that? Do you agree with that, though, Jeff?
Oh, no, I don't agree with it. But it's like, it's about power. It ain't about right and wrong. It's about power.
That was my point. The fact
that the NFL has always been about power. I mean, look how long it took for them to have a black quarterback. Look at how long it took for Warren Moon to make it. And he was clearly better than most of the other quarterbacks that came out during this time.
All of the quarterbacks, I don't disagree with you.
But I have a question. Well, where was this power and outrage when Peyton said, I'm not playing for a team? When Eli said, I'm not playing for a team? When these other quarterbacks have said, if you draft me, I'll just go back. Well, where was the outrage and the power then? Why didn't they show Peyton them? Why didn't they show Eli?
And you already know the answer, DJ.
I'm just
you
putting that out there
to
see if
Peyton is white.
If that's going to be acknowledged.
Peyton is white.
That was the biggest
NFL legend.
That was the biggest. Let me show you who I am that I've ever seen in professional sports. Because not only do you have Cleveland saying we're going to show you who we are and what we can do, you had to get 31 other owners to say, okay, well, we're on your side. We're going to agree with you. We're not going to take him. He was not. What number did he go, Gil? Was he the fifth, sixth?
Fifth round, 144. And it was a collective effort on the owner's part. To your point, General, I hate that I'm agreeing with everything you're saying today, but I am. It's ridiculous, man, that they did this to this man, knowing that he was a first-round draft pick. And you're right, Paul and Jeff. It was a power move, but still, they would rather lose. They would rather lose than give up power. And that's ridiculous.
Wow. And that's always been the case with white folks. That's always been the case. You know, especially when it comes to us. That even in a sport even in sports, they want to establish their control, their power. That's more important to them than winning or losing. You know,
I'm gonna ask Phil a question. Phil, do you think that Shedeur Sanders was the 6th or 7th quarterback, the best quarterback in the draft this year? I need your opinion.
I put it to you like this, Gil. If you would align him and Cam up, I give you the first pick. I take the one you don't want, and I'll play you every day of the week. That's how I felt about him. I watched him play. I watched Cam play.
Thank you.
There's nobody I saw that could do some of the things he did. I mean, he got better every year he played college. Every year.
Thank you. That's all I'm saying. So I understand about the power call. I understand, Jeff. You're absolutely right. But when you line them up, thank you, Philip, for that. And I called you specifically because I wanted to hear your opinion. You're right. It's 1-2.
Take the one you want. Give me the other one. It's kind of how I looked at Elijah Warren and Patrick Ewing coming out of college.
I didn't look at it.
Of course, we know the pros, it was different, but coming out of college, you take the other one, give me the other one. I don't care.
Well, the Cleveland Browns will end up being the biggest benefactor of this whole shenanigans because they end up getting this guy in the 5th round, and he should have been a 1st-round pick. So they're going to end up being the biggest benefactor because by the end of the season, by mid-season, I think he's going to be a starting quarterback. Seriously.
We'll see. We'll see how
it
things
depends
go.
on how the preseason go. He may have a good preseason and somebody trade for him before the season starts.
They're not going to let him go now. They're not going to let him go now. They're not.
I mean, I'm just saying, if that's what their goal was, that's how they could do it. I just can't wait to see what they do. I have no idea. I'm no authority on what they do in training camps. But you asked me a question about what I thought of him. I think highly of him.
I agree with you, Phil, but I don't see if they're going to play this all the way through. There's no way they can let that guy start at the beginning of the season. Somebody's going to have to go down. Somebody's going to have to get hurt because they're going to have to admit what we already know.
If he has half a decent preseason, they could use that for trade. I mean, I'm just saying. I'm not saying they will, but you're right. They're not going to start him.
Right now, they got 17 quarterbacks in Cleveland, and he's the best one. Okay, right now.
But I agree with Phil. When they say you sell high, you buy low. They bought them low, and they're gonna probably sell them high.
77 quarterbacks in Cleveland. Okay, you got 97 quarterbacks in Cleveland, and he's the number one quarterback.
Let's see how they handle Dylan Gabriel first, because both of them not seen.
First of all, he's too short. He's 5'2". Come on, man. Stop it, man.
Well, I mean, he's been winning, but let's just see what they do with him first.
I agree. But Jeff's taller than him. Jeff,
I'm taller than you now. You can give it up. I'm taller than you now, G. You can't use that no more. You use that at PV. Not anymore.
Not with that yellow tie, you're not. I promise you.
Hey, guys, are we
surprised?
Are we surprised that the Astros have jumped to first place in their division?
Wow.
Surprised?
That's Jeff's area. Jeff, talk to us, Jeff.
No, I'm not surprised because they're in the worst division in the league right now. They're only 6 games over 500. They're in first place. So if they was in some of these other divisions, they'd be in 3rd and 4th place. So no, I'm not surprised. Their division is having an off year right now. So I'm not surprised.
And they say Lance McCullough has came back into form as a pitcher, and they still have Fromber as far as I know, but they got a lot of new players, and I don't know who anybody are hardly. You got rid of you got rid of almost all the players that I knew of, so I had to get to know who these new players are. But that's how it goes.
If they was in the Dodgers,
they are in
if
a
they were in
weaker
the
division.
Dodgers, if they were in the Dodgers division, they'd be in 4th place. I'm just giving you some ideas. So no, I'm not surprised because they're in the worst division.
Okay, well that's interesting. Guys, track season is about to start. We're going to have a special track show July the 2nd. On that show is going to be Dennis Bradley, Easter Gabriel, and Coach Blanks, for those who know him. And that's going to be a special show on a Wednesday. And hey, Michael Johnson is still doing pretty good, getting that Grand Slam track tournament started across the country. They just had a track meet in Philadelphia, and Sydney McLaughlin tried to run the 100. She got second. She tried to do the 110 hurdles. She got 5th place. So it's no guarantee they can come from one race and be a star in the other race. So that really showed that. Now she's going to go back out there and work on her form, her craft, and get better at those other things. But you can't just jump from one race and be a star in another race. That's not how it goes. But track across the board, of course, that's my favorite sport. And coming up are the World Championships of Track and Field. First, the U.S. Track Championship, and we'll see how things go. And
what a quarter mouse.
Right, I have some highlights from track, and you're welcome to see those. Everything else is going okay. Going back to Roland Garros, that tournament in France. We hope Coco Gauff does a good job. I think she's going tonight, going to play tonight or tomorrow, and we'll see how things go.
She's going to the championship, right?
Yeah, she's playing against Sabalenka.
Okay, all right, thank you, Daryl.
She's playing the #1 seed, right?
Yeah, and that's who beat her 2 years ago in the final. So this is a chance for her to show her progression, and of course, we'll be rooting for her.
In general, I hate to agree with you again, and I'm going to give you credit for knowing that. Damn it, I hate that. But thank you for that update. Yeah, I know she was playing for the update, for the championship soon, and I'm not sure when it was. I'm sure it's going to be this weekend. I think I'm going to watch that.
Hey, Phil, what's the update on boxing? I haven't heard anything. There's nobody out there.
They're still trying to get Crawford in with the guy, what's his name? Canelo Alvarez. And that's supposed to happen in October, September.
They don't want to do that, Philip. They don't want to do that.
Oh, yes, they do. That promoter over.
I know. But
yeah, and they're gonna do it because it's money.
Yeah, you're right.
And then you got Tank Davis getting ready to do his fight with the fight he lost, because Tank lost that last fight.
Yeah, you're right. But Canelo is way too big for that cat, man.
I agree.
Not really.
He better run.
Not really. That's not. I disagree with that. I mean, here's the deal. Crawford walks the street at the weight they fighting at. It's just a step up. It's just a weight, 2 weight classes up. But at the same time, they've given him a whole year to prepare. It's not like they told him 6 months ago, and then 6 months he fight. He almost had 2 years to prepare. They've been egging this on for a minute. So it would be a competitive fight. It will not be. Canelo hasn't seen anybody with this skill set since he fought. What's our guy? Left undefeated, Mayweather. And Mayweather ran most of the fight. This guy's not going to run.
I'm not going to disagree.
Still need some marquee fights.
It's not a lot of them out there. The heavyweight division has nothing going on. It's usually
I still say let me fight Clarissa Shields, and I say that.
Excuse me, guys. Let me say this real quick. Since nobody asked me about the WNBA stuff, I must be on a different planet because I've watched it for quite some time. Just let me give y'all a few names that I can tell you right now. Half these names you're gonna remember. And Caitlin Clark is not better than Sue Bird, Sylvia Fowler, Maya Moore, Diana Taurasi for sure. Elena Della Don. You had Simone Augustus. You had Katie Smith, Tamika Catchings.
Nope.
I mean, I could go on.
Chelsea
I'm not even
Plum.
talking about the 4 coming teams that won championship. All those girls were good. I'm just saying, I watched it from the inception, and it is a slow progression, but it has never been at this point when we had the world basketball. They didn't have a chance. They had no chance. But this particular entity of women's basketball is on an upward. It's a slow progression, but it's a progression. And it's gonna get there. I said this every time we've ever brought this up. It's not where we think it should be or ought to be, but it's there. It's not. They got a new TV contract. They have money. It's seeping in. You don't hear people bragging when they sign their pen to that paper like Trump does in office to show you what they've done. Just keep watching them. Just keep watching them. They are getting there. They're signing contracts. They're signing players. The money is slow. Look at all the commercials you see them showing up on lately. Have you noticed? It's a slow progression. But they're going to be okay. That's all I'm ever saying. It doesn't matter who's on whose team. That until the NBA pulls the plug, you know, you cut your plug on, you got something you want to cut off and you don't know what the switch is, you'll pull it out the plug. That's how it's going to stop. And that hadn't happened yet. Ladies sports in general, we up here watching the softball game tonight. And like I said earlier, one thing you did say, college is serving as a mini farm system to the pros. And these girls are not understanding that now.
That girl from Texas Tech just signed that $2 million contract, bro.
There you go. I mean, it has to happen because
that's 2 tickets.
The money is there. It's just that how you going to get it? How you going to get them to persuade them? And they're working on it. That's all I'm saying. ESPN has channels just specifically for women's sports. I mean, it's coming. I mean, it's what it is.
I'm watching it right now. That little young girl from Texas Tech is a real deal, bro.
But she's pitching on 3 days in a row, and they getting to her already.
I know, but still.
But she got her money. She got her money. She done.
She got 2 million, 2 tickets. 2 tickets right now. Daryl, go ahead, Daryl. I'm sorry.
You think they go to class when they get that kind of money?
Hey, Jeff, we almost out of here. Or what's your final statement, Jeff?
Basically, what I wanted to say is the NBA draft. Just real quick, the NBA draft. All right, you guys everybody agree who's going 1, right? Everybody agree that Cooper Flag going 1? Is everybody in agreement with that?
Nobody else is.
Okay, all right. So my next question is, who do you guys think is going number 2 in the draft?
I don't know enough about it.
I mean,
it depends on what teams want. I mean, we just know number 1 is going to be Cooper Flag. He's earned that.
Who's doing number 2? What team is drafting number 2?
It's gonna be the guard from Rutgers. What's the name? Son going 2.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. Ron Harper's son.
Yes.
Ron Harper's son going 2.
Yeah. There you go.
Okay. From Rutgers.
Yeah.
University.
And they got another guy on their team to be in the top 5.
And then number three gonna be the dude from Rutgers again.
There
The
you go.
6'10" dude.
There you go.
Okay.
Oh, I was thinking Trey Johnson. I'm thinking Trey Johnson, Pat. You don't think
No,
Trey
sir.
Johnson?
Not yet.
No, sir.
Not yet. He'll be in the top 10 though.
Okay. Okay. So you saying Ace Bailey, Pat? You saying Ace Bailey?
Yep.
He
gonna be 3.
Okay.
Harper 2, he 3.
Yeah, they'll be in the top 2 or 3.
Who you got going 4, Pat? Who you got going 4? Who you got going 4, Pat?
It's a toss-up after that. It depends on who picking 4th.
4th is Charlotte.
They need everything.
That is true.
Okay, real quick. Let's skip over to the Rockets. Let's suppose they don't trade the pick, because I really think they're going to trade that pick. But let's just suppose they don't trade the pick.
You always betting French's chicken. Let's bet a French chicken. They don't bet it, since you like to bet that all the time.
Okay, hold on. French's chicken, what we betting? What are we betting, Phil?
We can bet a family pack for all I care.
I know, but what we betting?
We're going to bet another family pack that you said Pacers earlier, too.
No, but I said Pacers and I said meant the Thunder.
Okay, now I'm good. No, now that's all I want to hear you say, because you did say it. Don't say you didn't.
And I said I mean the Thunder, but why you give me a hard time over
I'm just saying, you denied that out. I didn't say that.
Okay,
we good on that.
I'm telling mom on you.
But on the pick, we can bet that one. I bet they keep it.
The 10th pick, who you got the Rockets taking if they keep it?
Again, I say Robert Clayton.
Okay.
All right. Available. He won't be available,
Carl.
He won't be available.
You don't think he'll be available?
Went to Florida.
No.
Okay,
He won't be available.
I think they're going to take the center from Duke. I think the center from Duke is on the board at 10. He's projected to go anywhere from 7 to 12. If he's on the board at 10.
He'll be gone too, but I'll take him.
Yeah, if he's on the board, I take him if we keep that pick.
But he'll be gone.
Because the reason why I say it is because we may be losing Steven Adams. When I'm hearing there's a possibility.
I keep him if you keep Steven Adams, I take him.
Okay. Yeah, I think we'll take him, but he might get deported. Trump said he's gonna deport him. So I'm just saying,
you can get him.
He gonna deport him back to Sudan. I'm not laughing. I think I'm playing. But Trump, Elon, all of them, they're gonna deport him. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay, quick question. If we lose Steven Adams in free agency, what I'm hearing is that Houston is going after Brook Lopez. How do y'all feel about that? Brook Lopez with the Milwaukee Bucks.
From Duke, man. You don't need Brook Lopez.
Yeah, I mean,
I'd
keep Jock Lundell before I do that.
That's different.
Say what, Cole?
That's different.
I keep Jock Lundell before I go out to Brook Lopez.
Nah, I take Brook Lopez over Jock Lundell.
I would too. What about you, Pat? Pat, if we lose Steven Adams, would you go after Brook Lopez if he's interested?
Nope, he's not a rim defender. A rim protector. He not it.
Ooh, okay. Thank you, Pat. Thank you, Pat. Thank you.
But what is Jock Lundell? I'm just saying, if between the two, Jock Lundell ain't either. At least he could get you some buckets. I'm just saying if you had to pick between the two, but no, you probably wouldn't have to go after him if you don't have to. I don't agree with that. But if I could get him and he's available and he take a little less money, yeah, I'll take him. If you lose, because you get a trade-off then. If you lose big guy you got now, at least you get somebody who can score. But at the same time, you do need some defense. You need defensive presence. So
Adams is a better defender, but Lopez is a far better offensive
better scorer. Yeah.
Yeah, because he can actually hit the three. He's actually hit the three. He
can play inside a little bit, but like Pat said, he's not going to do a whole lot of blocking. Right. Neither did Adam. Adams rebound.
Right. All right, guys, we have
Phil.
the end of our show.
Hold on, Carl, real quick. Phil, if the Bucks called you today and say, okay, we're ready to offer you Giannis because he wants to come play in Houston, would you make that trade for them?
Okay, what you going to give? This is what I keep understanding. I know all this.
Okay, let's say
you can't give them trash for treasure. You can't do that. You got to give
I agree with that. I agree with that.
Treasure for treasure.
I agree with that. All right. Huh? But my question is there a trade package you willing to put together to get the Greek Freak?
If I'm coaching and you don't,
or would you say no?
I'm just gonna say no.
Okay. All right. What about you, Pat? Pat, would you trade for the Greek Freak? If you're the Rockets?
I can't give up. What's Thompson? No, out the question. What's the center? Out the question. So like Phil say, what they want? Some draft picks? Now if they taking draft picks,
yeah. We got
they be crazy to do that. They trying to give him away. I'll take him, but they gonna want treasure for treasure.
No. And Carl, by the way, I want
you to know that Jalen Green,
hold on, Jeff.
What's that?
Carl, I want you to know that Cindy McLaughlin dropped down the red in the 4, and she has the fastest time in the country in the world.
Wow. That's a bad girl. What she did, what, Pat?
She had the fastest time in the 400 in the world.
That is a bad girl.
Are you talking about the open 400 or hurdles 400?
I'm talking about the open 4.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, well, I knew she could do that. Everybody knows she could do that. Because
you talking about she a hurdler. You talking about she running the 110. Yeah, she ran the 110 and finished 5th. Okay. Go tell her to touch her in that 4.
Sure. That's why she runs anchor on the mile relay.
Okay.
We already knew that.
I knew that. You did. I'm not a track guy, but I knew she was a bad man on the beach.
How good she is across the board. And she will even develop better in the 100 because she got to work on her start and everything else. And that's what she's trying to do. And Michael Johnson is paying her money to do all of these changes in events. That's one thing about the Grand Slam. At the end of the tournament, they make $100,000, across the board. They're getting paid. He's trying to change the trajectory of track and field. So that's why they got all of these athletes that are going into different events, and they're trying to show what they can do because at the end of the day, they're getting paid. That's a good thing.
It's 6-0
We'll see how it
Texas.
goes.
It's 6-0 Texas over Texas Tech right now. Yeah, right now.
Yeah, they scored 5 in the first inning.
Yeah, it's 6-0 right now, Texas. I didn't mean to.
Pat, I was with Dave Irvin last night at the Skeeters game, and I was telling them that the reason I thought Texas would win because they have more depth in softball. They could go 3 or 4 good pitchers, whereas Texas Tech relied on one and hope to get a lead and bring her in to close them out. But if they got to her early, they can go eat hamburgers. They can go fishing.
Yeah, for sure.
Exactly.
We going to that.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we're toward the end of our show. Our next show is on the 20th. That's going to be another sports take. And again, on the 2nd, we're going to have a Sports Legends track special. And that's July the 2nd. And so we look forward to that. Anything else?
Want to tell you about the sponsor that helped sponsor this show tonight.
Oh, go ahead. Yes, sir.
That would be A Rocket Moving and Storage, a full-service moving company, interstate, residential, commercial moves, located at 3401 Quarter. The owner, DeAndre Sam, second generation. Give us a call, 713-748-6024. When I was a kid, Mr. Sam used to say, no job too big, too small. Call Sam, the flat rate fixing man. But DeAndre has taken it to a new level where it's more corporate, more diverse. And from the 4 trucks they had in the 70s now to 27, 28 trucks and a full staff that can service any type of move you have in the city of Houston and outside the city of Houston and outside the state of Texas. Just give us a call or come by and visit us. We have a 62,000 square foot climate control warehouse to store your items in. So give us a call. Let us know when you are in the need of a mover. We're the guys that you want to call. Darryl General can attest to that. From a corporate standpoint, Baker Box, one of our bigger clients. I generally handle that account because Darryl allows me to, and I appreciate that.
I can vouch for it. You guys are great. If there's anybody out there that's listening, or if you're watching this on replay, if you have a job, it doesn't matter how big or how small, please call A Rocket.
All right, guys. We will see you next time. If sports going on, we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about chess, bowling, golf, whatever it is, we're going to talk about it in sports. So we'll see you next time. And we thank you and we appreciate you. And we'll see you next time.
All right, gentlemen.